So my wife ended up getting her motorcycle permit today, so that's pretty exciting because this is my 2017 Honda Crf250L and dual sport bike, obviously. So brake lights, turn signals, all that good stuff. So street legal bike. And this is the one that my wife's gonna end up riding. So I've got this one, and then I've got a Yamaha MT-07. So normally I ride the MT-07 because I like it better generally. So ever since I got the MT-07, then I don't ride this one a ton. So I figured I'd take this jalopy out and make sure it's still good. It's like 91 degrees right now, so that's quite hoot, and kind of sucks because I like riding with like full gear on. So I don't know if you can see, got my Alpine Star jacket with all my armor, and then I got jeans and some tall shoes, like Alpine Star moto shoes. So it is a lot of gear on when it's 91 degrees. It's not ideal, but dressed for the crash, I guess. But when it's this hot, then it kind of makes you think about whether you really want to wear full gear or not, because it is real spicy out. Man, these doggos are not stoked. What's up, doggos? That is one bad thing about this bike, is I always get chased by dogs. Like, luckily they're in a fence, so then they can't legitimately chase me. But I am constantly chased by dogs on this bike, because the exhaust is pretty loud. It's got technically a factory like stock muffler, but the previous owner cut it and took the baffles out, so it is quite loud. But it sounds good for what it is, to be fair, but it is definitely quite loud. Some twisties, bro. Yeah, so this is definitely not the most ideal motorcycle to do twisties on, but it's still fun. Like, people rag on 250s all the time, and like, this isn't probably like your typical like Ninja 250 or whatever. But it's like, if you don't have the money to go out and buy like I've got an MT-07 and or like a leader bike. I don't understand leader bikes, like 1000cc bikes. It's too much power in my opinion. Whatever, but like, if you don't have the money to go buy like a expensive bike, it's like 250's fine, 400's fine. Like, I hate it when all the friggin' like size queen people are like, oh, you're out to get a leader bike. Like, no, you don't. Especially if you have back roads like this where you live, like, this is still sick. Like, I'm on like a 250 dirt bike basically, and it's still super fun. Like, motorcycle's a motorcycle. That's why people that ride like ROMs and stuff, like, it's still fun. Like, you may have to, I had a downshift right there. You may have to downshift a little bit more than you would if you had the torque of like a 700, like my other one's a 700, or like a leader bike. But you can do it. Like, it's still super fun. Like, you don't have to go super fast on a motorcycle to have fun. Especially when you're doing back roads. Now, if you're a highway cruiser, probably want a little more than a 250 if you can. like a 400 Ninja or something like that. Plenty. Or even like a 300 MT03, sorry, MT03, or like an R3, thing like that. Probably plenty of power on the highway. Deer! Oh, I scared the baby deer that wasn't a that was like a full-grown deer. Sorry, deer. That deer was not stoked. Not stoked at all. Do other people see like a ton of deer when they ride? Because literally every time that I ride around my area, I see a bunch of deer. It's pretty not ideal when you're on a scooter, because it does not turn out well if you hit a deer on your scooter. Fun fact. Because as you might or might not know, there's a whole lot of stuff that keeps you from getting smoked when you're on a scooter and you hit a deer. Good times. Also, the nice thing about being out in the middle of nowhere is you can just turn around in the middle of the street. Oh, boo. It says no trespassing. Boo. Annoying parts by doing back roads like this, because you'll think you got like a super sweet road that you're gonna be able to go down, ended up being someone's freaking driveway. That was a little rowdier than I thought. Anyway, it ends up being somebody's driveway, and then you have to turn around. It's super annoying, but it's hard to tell until you're doing it. Oh, I think I know where I am now. That pond is super sick. And then this up here, I'll turn right here. Gravel. Heck yeah, dude. Stoked. Love me some gravel. So if you have gravel roads in your area, I would beg you basically to get a dual sport bike, because it is so much fun, and the level of skill that you end up picking up from having to navigate gravel roads instead of boring street bike stuff. Street bike stuff isn't boring. Street bike stuff's pretty fun too, but gravel roads are freaking spicy. And you can take gravel road, like if you want to go super slow on gravel, you can. But if you want to get a little squirrely and make yourself a little nervous, if that's what you're into, then you can do it on gravel, and then just go faster. Well, whatever speed that you feel comfortable going. And then if you want to keep pushing yourself, just keep going faster and faster on gravel, and then you'll end up yeah, making yourself nervous. I don't know how to say it other than that, but I'm guessing that's like the same kind of feeling when the sport bike boys will be going like 150 or something on the highway, or they're like weaving in and out of cars and stuff like that. Because like when you're going down stuff like this and it starts getting twitchy and you're going like 30, 40 mile an hour and the back end stepping out, it's pretty spicy. It's like, I feel like that's probably pretty close to how the sport bike boys feel when they're being rowdy. But this, if you end up crashing, it's gonna suck. But you're crashing at like 30 or 40 miles an hour, not like a $150 on the highway with freaking cars everywhere. It's gonna run you over. So to me, it doesn't seem as sketchy. It's like still kind of sketchy, but it's like a controllable sketchy. I love gravel roads. The only downside of gravel roads, if you don't know them very well, then you can get yourself into some trouble, because the vast majority of the time, like this is like a pretty rowdy little turn, but they never put signs up that you're turning, because in theory you're not going fast enough to smoke yourself on the gravel road, which may or may not be true when you're on a scooter. I think I turn. Gosh dang it. So I'll go this way and see. I do these roads a bit, but not enough to actually remember them, because it's, oh, maybe I do remember this. I think there's a water crossing up here normally, but it has been super hot, so may not be a water crossing. Crossing. Set. Like this bike compared to my MT-07, this one makes like 20 horsepower and the other one makes almost 80. And do I care? Not really, to be honest. Like this one's still super fun. Oh, this is 60 highway. I don't know about 60 highway, bud. Alright, we'll see if we can't get murked. especially when you start getting around semis and stuff, it gets pretty rowdy pretty fast. But it'll do it. Probably won't want to, but it'll do it.